Welcome to the First Responders Podcast, the podcast about first responders, made by first responders. Now for your host, Brian Miller, a retired first responder with over 25 years of experience.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the First Responders Podcast. This is Brian, your host. I am down in beautiful Key West, Florida, and across the table from me is Chief Brandenburg and Captain Lariz, correct? All right, I'm glad I didn't mess that up too bad. So, Chief, tell me a little bit about yourself.
About myself?
Yes, sir, and then we'll get into the department.
So I'm Chief Sean Brandenburg, the Key West Police Department. I started out my law enforcement career in 1990 when I graduated the Law Enforcement Academy in Indiana. I was a police officer in Indiana for 12 years before I came to Key West in 2002, where I started with the Key West Police Department. While I've been with the Key West Police Department, I have been a road patrol officer. I was on the mounted patrol. I was then a canine handler, and then I got promoted. The dog and I both got promoted to the rank of sergeant.
Wow.
Yeah. So
does that mean he gets extra bone during the day or something?
No, it just changed our, we were responsible for more than just him and I now. We were responsible for an entire shift of humans as well.
Oh, I got you.
So yeah, worked the night shift, and then I got moved over to the sergeant of the narcotics unit and worked there until the dog retired. And a couple of weeks after the dog retired, I got promoted to lieutenant. I was a night shift lieutenant for a couple of years. Then I was the administrative captain for a few years, and now I've been the chief since December of 2018.
Well, congratulations. And I love when departments promote within. You know, I'm from Norfolk, and we're a little bit bigger than Key West, and they're always bringing these guys in from out of town to be police chiefs and fire chiefs, and they hang around for a couple of years and then they take off. So,
I'm confident we have the next 15 years worth of police chiefs right here in the Key West Police Department right now.
Awesome. Now, are you one of those that came down here on vacation and then decided to come down, or?
I did. I came down on vacation from Indiana twice. The second time I'd stayed. So, very good. Worked out really well for me.
Yeah, it looks like it has. So, Chief, tell me a little bit about the department.
Well, the Key West Police Department is comprised of about 103 sworn officers, if you count the 9 that we currently have in the academy.
Okay.
And then we have about 30 civilian employees as well. That includes our dispatch center, our 911 call center, and then all the administrative folks that work around the station. So somewhere around 130, 140 individuals that work here.
Oh, very good. And I know you said that you were the narcotics lieutenant. So how many different divisions do you guys have?
So, well, that's currently under revision. Okay. So we do have a day and night shift patrol, obviously, and we run 12-hour shifts. So we have an Alpha and Bravo side of each of those. And then we have our investigative division, which is our regular detectives as well as our narcotics detectives. Okay. And then we're currently reorganizing the administrative side of the Key West Police Department. So, you know, I'm in charge, and then it's kind of split in half. Captain Lariz takes care of the operations side of things. That's the things everybody thinks is related to law enforcement. All the stuff you see on cops, that's the stuff he's in charge of.
Yeah.
And then there's the administrative side of things, which is the not so glamorous side of things that we wouldn't be able to function if they didn't get done, though. So the fun things like payroll and property and evidence and dispatch and our accreditation process, all that falls on our administrative side. And we're currently restructuring that. The deputy chief retired. We're not going to fill the deputy chief spot.
Oh, okay.
We promoted a lieutenant this week. So we are going to have those responsibilities divvied up between the lieutenants and restructure our organization.
Yeah, nobody gives the admin people enough credit, because we couldn't do what we ought to do if they weren't there.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're the people, absolutely the people behind the scenes making it all work for us.
You start messing with a cop's payroll, man, and they tend to get bent out of shape a little bit.
That will get their attention.
So, talked about the different divisions. What is your manpower situation? You said you had a little over 100 officers.
If you count the ones in the academy, it's 103 full-time sworn law enforcement officers is what we'll have once they're done with the academy. And for a city the size of Key West is only about 25 to 28,000 full-time residents. That's a significant police department. However, we have a couple million visitors a year. So we're actually running a police department that services a couple million people.
Yeah. And the stuff that y'all deal with, I know the urban guys deal with some stuff, but you guys, it's different because this is a party town and, people get a little juiced up and they tend to not act right. Do you have any job openings?
Currently, technically, no.
Wow.
But that changes on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. I mean, technically, I guess I have a dispatch position open currently, but that's it.
You have how's your turnover? You guys tend to stay here with you for a while, or?
We're doing pretty well on our turnover rate right now. We have a lot of people coming up to the age of retirement. So that's where we've lost the last few to retirements. But we're doing much better now than we did in the past. The biggest hurdle we have right now is the cost of living down here. It costs a lot to live down here, and we don't pay nearly enough to live well by any means. I guess that's probably a national situation for law enforcement.
It is, but I think it's exacerbated a little bit down here.
Yes, absolutely.
Because of the tourism industry.
Yeah, the cost of living is significantly higher down here. So we do lose some people to that, and we have law enforcement agencies around the state of Florida offering $5,000-$10,000 signing bonuses, to steal people away, and the cost of living is a lot less. So definitely a challenge, but we've come up with some different things. The sheriff's department has built some law enforcement specific housing.
Really?
And he splits that. The sheriff's nice enough to split that with us. And so a lot of our officers live in some of that housing that he has built.
That's nice.
Yeah, that helps out significantly.
They have a program like that where I live, and it's for police officers and teachers. But most of them are in places that you wouldn't want to live.
Oh, no, these are definitely places. These are nice places that you would like to live.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd live in a box down here if I had to, man. I love this place. Absolutely love it. So let's talk about your hiring and recruiting.
Okay. I do have a full-time recruiting officer.
Okay.
And she also helps with our training unit and background investigator. She wears many hats, but she's a recruiting officer as well. And she's constantly on the lookout for qualified, talented individuals that we could bring down here, or possibly nurture from our own community, and we get a mix of both. And then she does a fantastic job of recruiting and finding us qualified.
So once she recruits them, what's your training process like? Do you guys? I can't imagine that you have your own academy.
So actually, there is an academy here in Key West.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
okay.
It's run by the College of the Florida Keys. And so as long as the sheriff and I combined have enough people to make a class, to make it financially feasible for them to put on a class,
they'll do it.
And so we do that once or twice a year. And we, they go through down here. And then once they're out of the academy, there's a pretty substantial field training program that we put them through. And then once they complete that, then they're released on their own, work the streets.
Gotcha. And the field training program, I know some of them, depending on where you're at and what you're doing, some of them give you a block of time, 6 months. And if you're okay after 6 months, they'll cut you loose. And then some places have check-off sheets or check-off books. How does yours work?
So ours is in stages. So phases, phase one, you're not doing a lot of the stuff. You're learning from the officer you're riding with. Phase two, you're doing about half the work. Phase three, you should be doing 90-some%. Yeah. And then we do a shadow phase where the officer, the training officer is actually in plain clothes. And
wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So the trainee is out there, and the trainee is expected to do 100% of the work, but with direct supervision while they're doing it. And we do that for several weeks to make sure that they're making all the right decisions. And then we turn them loose.
Wow. And you talked about it briefly about your retirement. And we talked about it before we started. Your retirement, is it county or state?
It's actually the city of Key West, police and fire. Yeah. We have our own retirement plan.
Oh, okay. Oh, very good. And so you said you guys work a 12-hour shift?
Yes.
So that's probably what the 10 or 12 work days a month or whatever it is.
13 is what they end up working, yeah.
That's where I retired from. We did the 12-hour rotating shift, which I loved. I absolutely loved it. I was a school resource officer for about 5 years and did the Monday through Friday. They can have that, man. I like having those days off during the week. So what's the typical day? I know there's not a typical day in law enforcement, but what do you hope the typical day is?
So there's certainly not a typical day in the city of Key West either, but I'm going to let Captain Lariz answer that one because he has more of the expertise on the boots on the ground and get a little input from him.
Yeah, so I would say, like, patrol-wise, they stay pretty steady handling calls 24/7. We get a little plethora of everything down here. We don't have a lot of violent crimes, but we do get a lot of burglaries, thefts, the everyday things. We have a lot of calls involving tourists and drinking, which become an issue down here, of course, as you would expect.
Oh, my gosh.
But when we get our big cases, we have a very good criminal investigations division that comes in and helps out. But road patrol stays very, very busy.
Now, do you guys have SWAT or anything like that?
We do. We have a SWAT team. It's called a special response team.
Okay.
And there's about 12 members on there. They train every month.
Oh, okay.
1 day per month, they get off of their shift to go train, and they handle, our search warrants, barricaded subjects, anything where we need extra expertise, they'll come out and take over there.
Gotcha. That's the one thing that I've learned doing this, and like I told you, this is something brand new. I started doing this in June or July, and I've interviewed people at home up in Virginia and people down in North Carolina. And now you guys, and again, I can't thank you all enough for doing this, but you see how every state or county or city is set up differently because we all take it for granted that everybody does things the way we do it. So tell me real quick, what makes Key West and the Key West Police Department the place to be?
We're definitely unique down here. It's a small town with a lot of people, but, our department, we consider each other family. If you ever need help down here, there's always, we're going to have help.
Yeah,
we got a very, very supportive community down here. I mean, anything that goes wrong, that we get supported down here. There's, it's definitely stands apart from other places, and our agency is very well respected.
And I think I like this because I've interviewed a couple of smaller fire departments and rescue squads, especially up in North Carolina. And the smaller departments, they're always tighter. It's more family than anything. And like I told you guys earlier, I grew up around firefighters. When I was a kid, if you were a cop or a fireman, that department, like the Norfolk Fire Department where my dad was, that department played a big part in my life growing up. But I see over the last few years, and I wonder if you guys are seeing the same thing, where these younger guys that we hire, it's not like that. Do y'all see that here, or is it because it's a small department? Is it keeping that family feel?
No, we definitely keep the family feel here. Good. We all work together. We have a lot of camaraderie here. We just did formal inspections throughout the whole department. Had everybody a little nervous.
Everybody passed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, overall, I mean, we're very, very impressed with everything. They took it very serious, and they were nervous.
Yeah, well, you know what? You should be, man, because, everybody, you should want your stuff to look good.
Yeah, absolutely. But it definitely shows the pride that our officers have here. I mean, everybody's car was spotless, and it went very well.
Let's go back for 1 second and talk about the city. A lot of people, everybody's heard of Key West, I'm sure. And I've experienced it firsthand because, like I told you, I've been coming down here for years. Let's talk about the city when these cruise ships come in. And do you guys have a low season and a high season?
So a few years back, the city was prior to COVID, right? The city passed an ordinance that limited cruise ships. Okay. So our cruise ship traffic has decreased significantly from what it was when Captain Lariz and I started. But we still, there is an influx on when the cruise ships come in. But now we're down to one large boat and one small boat a day at the most. So it has significantly changed. And I can't remember the second part of your question now.
Just talking about the influx of people. And do you have a high season and a low season?
It used to be great in the summer. It used to really slow down here. You know, you said you came down right after COVID when we just first opened up. Yep. And I mean, you saw how isolated we were down here.
Yeah,
it was the number of tourists in town was very minimal. And we used to have that, but we don't anymore. Like right now would be our low season. We're still running probably around 300 calls for service a day.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so that's our slow season.
That's a lot for a small town like this. Wow. Why did they limit the number of cruise ships?
That's a very political question that I cannot answer.
Well, and I'll tell you, I told you guys earlier, I came down here because I'm a diver. And we were told because the cruise ships were messing up the reef or something, but that has to affect the bottom line of the city.
Oh,
to lose that number of tours.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the budget process and how the city made up for the loss in revenue. You know, you'd have to talk to our finance director how they work that magic. But it was a significant amount of money. I know that the city had to come up with from other resources.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out and talking to me. Any last words?
No, if you get a chance before you leave town, check out Truman Waterfront. If you're down Truman Waterfront, you can see our mounted unit.
Oh, okay.
So we do have horses down there, or you may see them walking up and down Duval Street. Or if you head over to the ferry terminal, our boats are if they're not out on the water, our boats are on lifts behind the ferry terminal. So our marine units got some pretty impressive boats over there.
The last time we were down here 2 years ago, and I don't know what kind of music you listen to, but we were down where the schooner takes off.
Mm-hmm.
And saw this big 125-foot yacht. And my wife said, that's got to be somebody famous. We found out as we were leaving town, Kenny Chesney was at Captain Tony's that night. It's like, man, we missed it because we were right across the street. All right, Chief, I appreciate it. Captain, thank you, sir. Allison, thank you for arranging this for me. I'll take any reason to come to Key West, man. Any reason at all.
Outstanding.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for me from Key West. Be safe, watch your six, and be good to each other. We'll talk to you down the road. Thank you.
You have been listening to the First Responders Podcast with your host, Brian Miller. Please tune in for future episodes of this podcast. Our podcast is dedicated to the men and women who serve the public as first responders. Thank you.